Right. Okay, I'll call the meeting order at 6:30. We will start out with the presentation part, and then after that we'll have a public hearing, and then we'll go back to our regular meeting. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, very good. Well, thank you very much for no mask as well, right?
Right.
So we'll acknowledge that, but I wanted to just take a very quick moment to introduce Bailey McGrath. I think you've all had a chance to meet her. She's our community development specialist and an integral part of, and being trained in this area of economic revitalization area designation and that process, and helping companies work through this process to make it simple and to make it more of a one-stop shop type approach. But I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the county commissioners, the county council for supporting our office's efforts in economic development, and we wouldn't be standing here tonight helping the company and the community get this process off the ground if they weren't as supportive as they are. So first and foremost, is thanking them respectfully. As you know, the preliminary, it's sometimes referred to as a preliminary resolution. In this case, it was the declaratory resolution that was step one, that was approved back pre-COVID. So we got that, took those baby steps. If I had the map of your community right now, I'd be outlining and showing you on the map the newly designated or the newly written legal description of the property, which would then mirror the economic revitalization area. So you'll see that in your resolution. But so procedurally, as you mentioned, there's the confirmatory resolution, which is the final step, which also acknowledges approval of the statement of benefits, and then points to and very clearly lays out the mechanics of how the company will save its incrementally increasing assessed value deduction. So that's the mechanics of the property tax abatement. The biggest thing to keep in mind is when you're approving an economic revitalization area resolution and declaring that area, it's almost like planting seeds. Each year, you're going to be realizing additional new revenues to the community, and that is a very positive thing. So, of course, we'll answer questions at the end of the presentation, but we are fortunate to have Ryan, who's going to tell you exactly what he's going to be doing on site.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tony. Yeah, I was thinking about coming to this meeting and kind of the last 2 years of what my wife and I have gone through to, try to find a place for an animal clinic. And I thought about Tom. I've been working with him for nearly 2 years now, and he's been really helpful. And quite honestly, the whole town of Westville has been real helpful in us, establishing Westville as a place that we could work with. And of course, met Tony not too long ago, but back just before COVID, and it really helps us from a financial standpoint to be able to build a facility like this. $2.5 million is what we're investing in this, and from a ground-up startup business and cash flow, the tax abatement is just really key. Unfortunately, my wife, who's I like to call the brains of the operation, she's the veterinarian, Dr. Lisa Booth. She couldn't be here this evening. Lots of pets being adopted right now, and so she's actually at the emergency center right over here at Purdue working this evening, covering for some shifts. But she's been a veterinarian in the LaPorte and Porter County areas for the last 20 years, worked at various practices, including lots of work at the emergency clinic. We're both from the area. We both grew up in South Haven. About 15 years ago, we moved to the greater kind of Westville area. We live in Jackson Township. And when we started thinking about where would we like to start our own business and kind of share our vision with everybody, Westville seemed like the perfect place, quite honestly. It's it's centrally located, so we feel like that we can really bring in business from the surrounding areas, not just the immediate area here. So it's great for folks in LaPorte County as well as Porter County to get to us. And you've already kind of established a nice base of business when it comes to animals. So, we look at Dog Paradise, they're our favorite boarding facility. And, they're kind of like the creme de la crop when it comes to boarding facilities. And also, of course, Purdue North Central's emergency center's been there, for 20 years now. And so there's already a lot of pet owners coming through the area. So we're really excited about coming to Westville. We've got family ties to Westville. I talked about that earlier, so we're just real excited about that. I'm in the animal health industry. I'm a supplier for animal health industry as well. So this is our facility. It's a 5,400 square foot facility. It's going to host 5 exam rooms. We plan to have 2 veterinarians on the floor at all times. We're going to be offering appointments and also walk-ins. So this is going to be very convenient, especially from people out of the area, to where they know if they can't get into their regular bed, or if they got a small emergency during the day, or hey, I've been super busy with 5 kids or whatever it is, and I need to get my dog into the vet for vaccines, they'll be able to walk in at any time. And then we'll also offer appointments as well. So this is be critical for people that have like follow-up type things and whatnot. So, super excited about that. I guess questions or
Maybe if you could, maybe the time frame from
Oh, yeah,
when you'll start to when it'll be completed.
So we're at
I noticed in the application, I think we've got September, and September, that's just a
That's
result of
pre-COVID.
COVID.
yeah.
So,
So Morton Builders is our contractor. So, what they've told us, and working with Wells Fargo and the SBA, it looks like we'll have financing in place very shortly here. And so we're hoping to break ground before the end of October and actually have a building and everything started before, kind of winter sets in. And so from an opening standpoint, man, if we could be open by springtime, that would be ideal for us. So, start to finish, 6 months is kind of what they've told us, but even as soon as 3 to 4 months. There's one other thing I was thinking about too.
employment impact?
Oh yeah. So not only will it have 5 exam rooms, but we're going to offer absolute full services. So we'll have surgery offerings, dental, X-ray. We do laparoscopic surgery. So a lot of investment in the equipment that's going in there, laser scalpel, ultrasound. We are going to start with the 2 veterinarians, and so we'll have about 10 to 12 employees starting right from the beginning, and we hope to quickly grow to 20 by the end of the year. And our long-term outlook would be, within the first 3 years to be at 30 to 40 employees.
That's phenomenal.
We're really excited about it.
And I think everybody here knows that, it's basically across from the McDonald's, would be across the highway from the McDonald's, where there's a house and a garage or an older barn there, just north of the WAI building,
Yep.
Westville Auto Building.
Yeah, it's it's a really nice intersection there. It's the busiest intersection in town, high visibility. There's actually already a paved commercial entrance that was put there by the state, I think, when they came through and widened the road. And so it offers us access off of 421, but then also I believe it's 400 that runs right along the north side of the property there, that they'll be able to use that as well. So I know you've got the kind of the picture of the layout, and you can see that there's a drive that comes, through the parking lot from 421 to 400. 400 or 500, I can't remember.
400 South.
400 south, yeah.
Is there anything else you have on that presentation, or we'll go to the
That's
part?
it. In conclusion, we would respectfully request your consideration and support of the resolution that, but in doing so, when your council's approving this, you'll open up the opportunity for Pet Hero and the team to save approximately $130,000 over a 10-year period. And the flip side of that is approximately $132,000 of new revenues to the Westville community over that same period. So it is a tremendous enticement for the small business to make this investment. It of course catches the eyes of the bank, the lenders that are additionally going to finance this investment. So they have demonstrated, I believe, all that's necessary to meet the requirements of declaring an economic revitalization area. They're taking that additional step of doing the demolition of a property on site. Even with the consideration of the demolition and taking that assessed value off the tax rolls, the new assessed value that's created will generate an additional $132,000 over that same 10-year period.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, you're fine.
I looked tonight, that property right now brings in tax revenue, and that's for the township, I mean, not just our
All
piece of
units.
pie, is around, for all units is around $2,100 a year.
Got
After 2 years of paying, on the second year, the revenue will be $5,260.
Yes.
So, and then the first year where we do get revenue will be about $1,300, so you'll get $6,575 in 3 years. You're gonna make up, you're gonna get a bigger return in the long run because you're getting rid of an older property and having this, so
It's a
think
great
it's
illustration of why it makes sense to support
Yeah.
these kind of investments on behalf of a small business.
Plus,
They're adding to that total assessed value of the community.
the property is still still taxed.
Correct.
The lot is
land.
taxed, the land is taxed.
You can never abate
Right.
the land tax.
And plus, all your equipment is personal property, and that's taxed from day one, for revenue from day one, right?
Right.
So, and,
New additional revenues.
I've never been a tax abatement person for like Walgreens, Myers, Walmart, any other big corporations that come in and ask for them, because they can afford to do it without it. But I think something like this is why you have tax abatement, in my opinion.
Well, keeping those funds local
Yeah.
and
My impression, having been a business owner before, is that's the only people that got the tax abatements were the big companies. And I'm just so excited to have this opportunity,
And I, Ryan, going back 2 years, Ryan, I remember it was like February of 2018, I think it was. We
Yeah.
started, the first initial phone call, I remember because I was in 4-H pigs at a seminar.
You're always in
Yeah, right. But no, it was pretty, that was the first initial conversations, and Ryan and Lisa's persistence and, staying with Westville and staying within city limits. They looked at properties, several properties, trying to make it work, and I think it's really neat. And, before this even took flight, we did the Westville Comprehensive Plan with the Planning Commission. That's when we kind of learned too of the dog services and businesses we had in Westville, and Ryan's project fits perfect within our comprehensive plan. Very thankful of Tony and Bailey and LaPorte County Economic Development really helping us through this process, because we would have been going through it the first time. It's not a complicated process, but if you've never done it before, having all the documents and seeing how LaPorte County has done it in the past is very helpful. And then the commissioner, and that's one thing the commissioners are, said they were going to support us, and here they are supporting us, and I really appreciate the commissioners and LaPorte County Council.
Oh, absolutely.
it's helpful to have a seasoned veteran like Attorney Beachy, who's basically helped write the original application, I believe.
I think you're aging
it's-
him a little.
He's
He's making the face.
It's nice to be the seasoned veteran.
Well, no, I was just thinking about how many, it's gotta be over 100.
Yeah,
It's gotta
that's a few
You look
projects.
very well.
be. Is that?
You look very well for you.
At 25.
100 projects
I have
later.
a question. I'm reading.
Yes.
your description here, and it says laundry, food prep, and grooming.
Yeah, so it would be very limited grooming, just from a medical standpoint.
Okay.
And I don't even know if you would classify it as that, but, you do have to clip some dogs and stuff for surgery and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you do any livestock at all?
No, my stuff.
Livestock, I just had to ask.
Can't pull over
You
the
can
4-H
retouch
pigs.
it.
Yeah, and then, you might see boarding in there as well, once again, just medical boarding. We're really excited to work with, Dog Paradise as far as, boarding and grooming services go. We think that's just a great synergy there.
So you guys complement them?
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
complement each other, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's excellent. And this is an exciting project. It's on, like you said, Ryan, it's right on the corner, entering into Westville or leaving Westville. I think it's highly
Picture,
attractive.
yeah, right by.
And it's neat that, the vision, that was a barn and a house, and now it's gonna be a vet hospital. So,
Very cool. I guess we don't have anybody else to speak about for the hearing part, so I guess
Well, you can do it in one sentence, as they say we did it.
okay.
Public hearing, close hearing.
Yeah. Any public comment? Being done, the hearing part of it. Thank you for coming out. I have resolution 2020-8. It's a confirmatory resolution, a resolution of the town council, Westville Town Council determining that the qualifications for an economic revitalization area have been met and confirming a confirmatory resolution, I can't talk tonight, adopted by the Westville Town Council. Whereas the Westville Town Council pursuant to deduction for rehabilitation and redevelopment of real property economic revitalization areas act has declared the following described area to be an economic revitalization. I will not read the legal description, and Doug has reviewed this, and basically it's, as the title says, it approves that. So I will make a motion that we adopt resolution 2028.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Pfaff to adopt resolution 2028. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Albert votes yes. Passes 3-0. Is there anything else come for the council? No. In that case, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second motion.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Pfaff to adjourn. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Being none, the meeting
Thank you for
adjourns at
coming to Westville.
6:47.